So maybe you've heard the term parallel before. Parallel lines are two lines that go in the same direction without touching. We're going to create parallel code for our program. Two chunks of code that are going to run at the same time. And we're going to do it by creating a second event block right beside the one that we already have. So we have one sequence of code that's going to start when I click the green flag that's going to erase and control the pen. But at the same time, there's going to be this other set of code that does something different. I'm going to add in a forever block again, and I'm going to just pop in some code over here. You don't really need to know exactly what all of this is because this is just an example. I'm going to be putting in something to change the size of my pen. I'm going to change it by a tiny bit, which means I'm going to do a decimal point and a 1. And I'm going to put in here, same thing for the seconds. Let's see. All right. So what I have here is some code that tells my pen to change its size by a tiny amount 10 times in a row, and then to change it backwards 10 times in a row, over and over again. And if I do this, I end up with a line that will slowly get thinner and thicker. Now, you might not be seeing much of a change here. And if you're not really noticing it, which I'd like to see a little bit more of a change. All I have to do now is go back and fiddle with these numbers. If I make this number a little bit higher, like 0.5, negative 5, you see a little bit more of a change happening. And this loop is happening on and on forever while I draw. It gets thicker and then thinner again and again. Now, this is because I used a change pen size block. And a very common mistake is to miss the difference between a set pen size block and a change pen size block. Setting the pen size tells the pen to be an exact size. So if I set the pen size to 1, it will be that number and it will stay that number. If I tell it to set the pen size to 1 over and over again, the pen's not going to change color. But if I, or sorry, change its size. But if I tell it to change its size by 1 over and over again, it's going to keep on getting bigger. So a set pen size button, I might use more like this, putting it at the beginning so that when I start drawing, it will automatically start at 1 before it starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So now my pen goes from 1, it gets bigger 10 times, and then gets smaller 10 times. A different way to create your parallel code might be something more like this, using some math blocks to have the pen choose a random size over and over again. I'm going to tell my pen to pick a random size by using the set pen block. And since it's inside a forever loop, every time it goes through that loop, it's going to pick a different random number. I'm going to go from 1 to 25. And my line ends up being kind of splotchy because occasionally it has a larger size, sometimes it has a smaller size.